so that if you're in the unit or the guest is in the unit, no one can come into that unit if you lock the door from the inside. Sanitizing. Sanitizing is one of those things that has to be done if you have a dishwasher in the unit. If it's an older dishwasher and it doesn't get up to a certain temperature, you have to put a sticker on top of the dishwasher saying that it does not sanitize to the cleanliness codes of the state of Florida. If you don't have that little plastic sticker saying that, you will be fined by the DVPR. And there's specific language that you have to put on there saying that it's just not sanitized to standards. It's actually in the legislation. Baby cribs, things like that. If you offer baby cribs, you're going to make sure that they're, not a 1953 baby crib you bought at a yard sale because the fencing or whatever you want to call it on the sides is larger and kids can stick their heads through. You have to be aware of some of those things. Believe it or not, it happens. There's a list of things the state can enforce and can enforce. So, for instance, they're not going to care if you're going to charge somebody an extra $25 because it's Labor Day weekend and the guest doesn't like paying the extra $25, but they are going to worry about all those enforcement areas that are concerns of sanitation. One of my thing about hotels that I use when I go to the state legislature is they have 10 times more complaints about sanitation than any vacation home in the state of Florida. And we have more units than they have hotels. So we're constantly saying we are a safer unit. We do have a lot more to accomplish in the checklist, but we are very much safer than them. They get many more violations. So that's what they can and cannot enforce as far as the state licensing goes. I sit on the DVPR Advisory Council, so we are involved. It's the first time we've been on the council, I think 7 years ago. I've been the representative on there for the entire state for 7 years. So we can now talk directly with the licensing authority and say, this works, this doesn't work. One of the things we were talking about earlier is, if you get a DVPR license that says you are an agent, and everybody keeps saying, you're going to be a real estate agent. And we say, no, you don't. They just call us agents. An agent is a property manager of the property. And if I don't get a call a week, somebody asking, why do I need a real estate license? No, you do not. Not in the state of Florida, as long as you're not renting longer than 6 months. That's when you need a real estate license. So people will tell you that. Some counties will try to enforce it. You don't have to do it. It is not mandatory. One of the things that is mandatory, and this is where you get tripped up a lot of times, we have a free course on mandatory training for human trafficking awareness. This came into play several years ago. It's a 1-hour course. It's free with us. You can take the course, you get a certificate at the end of it, and then you have to do it every single year. If you get caught, anybody talking to a guest or DVPR walks in and says, you got that certificate for your education and you don't have it, it's $1,000 a day until you get it. $1,000 a day. Just a few years ago when they put this in place, everybody was turning a blind eye to all the Tampa Bay hoteliers, and there was 7,000 people that didn't have their license and they never got fined, and it turned into this huge PR nightmare. So the state is now enforcing it even more. So you gotta make sure you have this. Anybody that's on your payroll, anybody that's dealing with guests, if your maintenance guy goes in and he talks to a guest, he will need to get that certification to make sure that he has it. So this is one of those new things with human trafficking awareness that you have to do. There's a log. We have to keep a log of every single person when they took it, so that you can show that the DVPR that log. If you deal with apartments and transient rentals, apartment rentals, you also need to deal with what's called Maya's law. This was put in place 2 years ago now, I think. If there's key codes and passcodes where maintenance people are going into units all the time, Maya's law comes into play. You have to have a list of every single person. They have to be background checked, and they have to have their name on that list with DVPR when they come in to make sure that they've had background checks and they've done that. A young lady was staying in an Orlando apartment. One of the maintenance guys came in and he actually murdered her in the apartment. So that's what triggered Maya's law to come into place. So you have to get these two things if you're dealing with those types of units. Another thing that's a trending safety matter, we do a lot of safety training and things, EV charging stations. This is like the big thing now. I think Airbnb and some of the other platforms are now saying you can list it, that it's an option, and people need to charge their EVs. This happened over in, I think, St. Petersburg or Tampa Bay, one of those areas. We had a call the other day. One of the guests brought his electric vehicle, unplugged the dryer in the unit, and was plugging the charging system into the dryer unit. So the dryer was disconnected. And it's always something, you just gotta make sure that you're aware of that. That's one of those trending safety issues though. We do have a 4-hour course with Favor that you can take. It's a safety training program. We partner with Breezeway to do this. It's really intense. It's got a lot of videos. You get a certificate at the end of it, but it gives you credits towards our overall certification. It's really informative though. We just did one of these in-person trainings up in St. Augustine, and it's intense. It talks about the smoke alarms and all the things that you need to know that are both state requirements and also things that will just keep your guests safe. You can use it to tell your guests that you have safety certification and your home is much safer than any other one that doesn't. So it's a $350 course that we offer for free to our members. Advocacy. So here's the one that everybody, either you love it or hate it. Some people don't like to deal with elected officials, some people do. We go to Tallahassee, the state capital, every single year. This year we went in January. We met with 30 senators and state representatives in one day. It's an intense day of lobbying to meet these folks, usually in areas that we know there's problems, or if they're trying to enforce the bill that's going on, we'll target that person and we'll go and meet with them. We have an entire lobby team that we have in Tallahassee that does a lot of this work for us and works with us on that. But then we take our board and our members and we go up there and we meet with these elected officials. Because, are there any elected officials in the room? Good. Okay. Elected officials are clueless. They are absolutely clueless. They have no idea what they're talking about. We go in there, and as soon as you educate them, they move on to another position, and then you're going to train somebody else all over. But you'll walk in and they go, oh, you guys are the timeshare guys. Oh no, you guys are, Airbnb people, and I use Airbnbs all the time. And we'll talk about things like removing guests from the home, and they're like, oh, you have to evict the guests. And we don't say evict, we say remove the guests, because you can call the sheriff and throw them out. It's not like an eviction process where you go to court and you move somebody out. So it's a constant education. Those people voting on your bills and laws have no idea what they're voting on half the time. They'll give the bill that's 50 pages to their intern, and the intern reads it and tells them the highlights. So this is what we've got to do, is go up there and constantly educate them on everything. So we've killed a lot of bills. We love this saying because sometimes it's good to just kill a bad bill than worry about passing a good bill, because we haven't been able to get a good bill passed in I don't know how many years now. Right now in the state legislature, there's so much infighting. The executive branch, the governor, is fighting with the House, and the House is fighting with the Senate, and the Senate is fighting with the House and the governor, and nobody wants to pass anything. We have the tourism development tax bill that was floated. We think that's dead now. They were trying to wipe out all the tourism marketing agencies, at least try to reform them in one way or another, but there's a lot going on all the time. We've had a vacation rental bill up to this year, probably for the last 11 years that I've been here at Favor. This year we didn't have a vacation rental bill, luckily. They were trying to squeeze short-term rental stuff into other bills. So there's an affordable housing bill, and they squeeze short-term rentals into that. They're trying to change ancillary zoning so that you can have a guest home in your backyard that you rent out on Airbnb, and things like that. So they're trying to squeeze things in other bills to impact our industry. So we constantly track and watch those, and then go up and testify on that. But I really can't say enough about how we need every single person to do some part of that. Even if you don't like talking to elected officials, the best way we gain ground is to build a relationship. Know that your local state representative, your state senator, is in the district here when session ends. They've extended session this year in Tallahassee to June 6th, and we're hoping no bad bills or anything that's going to amended, it's gonna go through. But after that, they take a little break. I encourage everyone to build those relationships with people locally. Just go in and talk to them, just a conversation. Who you are, what you do. I wanted to introduce myself to you. I run 5 vacation rentals, I run 100 vacation rentals, whatever it may be. You want to build that relationship because the people that are working in the government, in local governments, they're eventually going to move to the state government. And if you don't train them then, you've got to train them up there, and it's a longer road to get them trained. We have elections coming up when the governors, what is it, 2026 is the primaries, I think, for the state. We have another governor's candidate, Governor DeSantis cannot run again. He would like his wife to run. There's also another candidate who is a staunch supporter of vacation rentals. He used to be a House representative here in Florida. He's now a congressman in DC, and he's coming back and he wants to run for the governor's office. And he is a really big supporter. On the last time he was up on one of our bills,